Oh, hello. God, that went far. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of LH's Esta Show, where I, Luis Henrique, talk about Rio's history. Today, we're here in Cabo Frio, a little city roughly 70 miles east of Rio de Janeiro. And this beautiful beach gets visited by many people throughout the year. But something that people rarely know is that actually this beach was the stage of a massive conflict that happened between the French and the Portuguese called the War of Cabo Frio that happened in 1575.
And the reason as to why this battle happened was actually because Brazil was a very disputed territory all throughout its history. Many nations, including the English, the Dutch, and the French, had a desire to colonize this land in order to explore the Pau-Brasil, which was a tree that served as a rich source of red paint that at the time was very rare and valuable. And as you can probably guess, Cabo Frio had an abundant number of these trees and quickly caught the attention of the French, who decided to start exploring the area's wildlife in 1540.
And immediately upon arrival, they made a treaty with the Tamoio,
who were a group of Brazilian indigenous tribes that attempted to form a resistance against the Portuguese colonists.
and the extraction of the Pau-Brasil turned out to be such a great, viable economical option for the French that in 1554, their Vice Admiral Villegagnon decided to ask permission for the French to build a foundation here, which they did, which they eventually called the Maison de Pierre, or the House of the Rock. And this business turned out to be so good for the French for so long that, of course, the Portuguese decided to fight back. In 1575, when Antonio Salema sent 400 Portuguese soldiers, accompanied by 700 Cataquais natives, to take back the Brazilian territories that they had lost to the French. And this military expedition was so successful that it won the fight in two fronts, here in the Praia do Forte and in the Tamoios beach as well. And they managed to kick the French out of these territories and beat them, just like Portugal did at the end of the Euros. But of course, that doesn't mean that was going to be the last time the French were going to be here. And due to this, the Portuguese were forced to find different ways to defend their territories from the French, including the creation of a fort in 1615, which would be known as the Santo Inácio de Cabo Frio fort, which would actually be replaced by this one, the São Mateus fort in 1517, which is that one right there.
And I gotta tell you, the way up the fort is really, really difficult. I mean, look at me now. I'm going through a bridge, right? And then we get to the rocks, and I start climbing. And I'm still climbing. Still climbing. Still going. Still going. Still going. Going up the stairs. There we go. Leave a like, haha.
And this fort was actually built to protect the Araruamas River, which they actually didn't know at the time. It isn't a river, it's actually a lake. And right over there, as you can probably see, there's a massive reserve of the Pau-Brasil, which is exactly what they came here to explore way back when. And since this fort was only one out of a total 131 forts built by the Portuguese in order to protect the Brazilian coast, it can give a solid idea of what many of these looked like and what the day-to-day life in them consisted of. I mean, this place is pretty amazing. This place has over 400 years of history, and right now I'm inside of the captain's room. This place also has what used to be the kitchen, and as well as this, it also had the soldier's room, where 12 different soldiers would actually switch positions 24/7 so they could guard this amazing fort all day long. And as well as those other three, this place also had a jail, which of course was used to imprison illegal explorers who came to this land. So yeah, this place definitely has changed a lot throughout the years. But the good thing is that the building now has many banners explaining its history. Our personal favorites were these two that tell us how the fort evolved as times went by.
They confirm what we said about the creation of the Maison du Pierre that was replaced by the Santo Inácio de Cabo Frio fort, which eventually got substituted by the São Mateus fort, which is what it remains as to this day.
And to give you a little bit more context, about the history of this fort, the project was given the green light in 1616 by Constantino Menelau, and the project ended its construction in 1620. And just to give you some idea of how important this fort actually was to the Rio's protection, we are right here, right? This is where we're at in the Forte. And this area protected all of this from possible invasions in order to protect the Pau-Brasil and later on sugar, which we would produce in mass effect. And, well, as we said, this banner kind of shows you about the Tamoio group, which fought alongside the French and lost in 1575. And even better, look at the little Easter egg we have to our little Darwin episode. It's the Campos Novos farm. So, great connection. We're starting a cinematic universe now. It's great.
The fort was very beautiful, guys. I highly recommend checking it out if possible. But, yeah, I was so tired after I got up to the building that when it was time to go back down, I kind of went rolling like a bowling ball, so I'd rather not show that. Subscribe!
Well, the war, as we said, was actually because of the Pau-Brasil. And it happened right over here. This was actually the entrance to the river Araruama, which actually now we know is a massive lake. And in there is a massive reserve of Pau-Brasil, and they fought over that reserve way back when. And as you can see, this very historical place is now just one massive area with a bunch of fishermen. And I gotta say, the fish they catch here are really good. I mean, it's incredible to think that such a peaceful place like this was actually the massive host of a war, but that's in fact what happened. And they did fight right over here in order to gain power over the Pau-Brasil, which you can see some of it right over there, which is right here at the beginning of the Araruama Lake, which actually at the time they thought was actually a river. I mean, isn't this city beautiful? I mean, after all, I was born here, of course. Of course it has to be beautiful. I'm from here. But anyways, never forget, wherever you are, history will always be the star. And just in order to help our channel, please leave a like and subscribe. And we'll see each other in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. See ya. Look, we have pirates! Come on! We have to take defensive position! Wait. I think it's okay. I think they're going away. We have to stay here. All right? This is going to take a while. See ya.
2 hours later.
Are they gone yet? You sure? They're gone. I'm a hero. I'm a hero. Where is everybody? Wait, I thought I'd saved everybody. Oh, come on. Oh, come